For today's video, we're going to look at the Bimini pattern, which is a rather obscure pattern made by Homer Laughlin in the late 1960s. It was designed by Vincent Broomhall and was first used on the Regency shape. And that's what we have here, Regency vegetable bowl, or nappy. Regency was a round rib shape. You probably see the ribs. This is a Regency soup cereal. Regency was almost never marked. Sometimes the dinner plates might have a Homer Laughlin marking on it. This is the green gold engobe color. Later it was renamed Serenade Yellow. But the stamp design was under the glaze. And it was treatment number REG 803 Bimini on the Regency shape. Two colors, the gold color underneath and then the brown stamp on top. There were a lot of stamp decorations from the 60s and 70s. It was a way to get away from decals. You could do this under the glaze, get a clear glaze or a transparent glaze, and then the wear would be finished. So you didn't have to go through a decorating kiln. So here are Vincent Broomhall's notes on the Bimini pattern. We see a portion of the stamp here off to the side. This is dated November 2nd, 1967. And he says Regency two-color stamp, gold and brown. And that's pattern REG 803 Bimini. So Regency shape, Bimini pattern, which is what we have here. There was a second use, and they even give it a treatment number, REG 810, again for the Regency shape. And they say it's a light and dark blue, so it'd probably be like a dark blue underneath and the light blue on the top. Or maybe vice versa, he really doesn't specify. But what's important, it says, did not put in production, which is rather unfortunate. We don't see a lot of blue patterns from the 60s and 70s. Usually they're orange and greens and golds and browns. But this one didn't make it. Since it was given a treatment number, however, I wouldn't be surprised if a sample were to show up someday in this color combination. Then we see C367 century shape. Now the century shape in the 60s and 70s is just plain round coupe shape. It has nothing to do with Frederick Reed's century shape from the 1930s and 40s, the square dinnerware. He notes it was made for Shenango, China, which is rather interesting. It's a two-color stamp. Here we see it's green and black with a clear glaze. The vegetable and cereal bowls were just given avocado green engobe, continental saucer in plain white, and then continental cup sugar and creamer with avocado green. And here are some examples of this line made for Shenango. There's a 10-inch dinner plate, 7-inch plate. We see the green and black combination as opposed to the gold and brown that was used on Regency. And there's the plain continental saucer with an avocado cup. We look at the back stamp. It says Shenango Amberstone Interpace. I assume Interpace is the name of this line, and Shenango Amberstone's just a trade name. So this was made and back stamped at Homer Laughlin, though there's no mention of Homer Laughlin in that back stamp. And you wouldn't necessarily know this was a Homer Laughlin product, but we do have the supporting documentation for it from Vincent Broomhall's notes. So this was a rather limited line. Both of these are very difficult to find, whether it be this Interpace or Bimini. There's one piece I want to look at that I think is rather special. It's the same stamp design. It's the top stamp. There's the two-color version in black and green, but this is the top version on a piece of Fiesta. So I bought this from Strasser's auction several years ago. I know of one other that exists in a private collection. We look at the back of this, which I think is interesting. It says 21857 under the glaze. So this doesn't look like it's a test piece for the stamp pattern on Fiesta. What it looks like to me is that it's a test for this antique gold glaze, and that they're probably just putting whatever stamp they wanted to on there just to test this glaze and how it would look. So it is something to look for if you've got these antique gold Fiesta pieces, or even the amberstone ones. You know, start looking at those stack of plates and see if the design might be different. I know somebody does have an amberstone plate with a non-traditional amberstone stamp design on it. So that's it. A little bit about Bimini and interpace. Rather obscure little pattern to find.